There we go. Sorry about that. That was the most false start I've ever seen in this stream. We will not be having that again, let that be known. Either way, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's, well, daily cast. I hope you guys are ready, because indeed it is time for some more Dota 2. Tonight, we are back to Dota 2 cast pub matches while we take a break from the Duck Soup Gaming Dota 2 League. As was stated a little bit previously, we were going to bring this to you tonight in 480p as well as 720p. However, Twitch doesn't apparently like it when I stream with them in two different resolutions. So, without further ado, we're just going to hop into the match here and get things rolling. Tonight, it is going to be two random teams who I've never met, never known anything about for that matter, and we'll see them going head-to-head in what could be an interesting match. You guys get to find out. I kind of know, but only vaguely, so no spoilers on either side of us. Obviously, early on for the Dire, and we're just going over team rosters really quickly. We have Fatality, Flame Atlas, Helios, Drake, ZX, and Feelgood on the Radiant team. Over on the Dire side of things, Gangster, Matsk, Gangster Maps, Kawaktak, Mark Demon, and Captain Cannabis in all bold text, which makes me really want to just go Captain Cannabis. That fits Seattle well, that name.
30 seconds.
Either way, no Radiant. Only Gyrocopter's actually out for the Radiant at the moment. In the meantime, though, for the Dire, we have a Pudge, Mr. Gangster Matsk as our Pudge. In position number 2, we have Keeper of the Light, Gangster Maps, Drow Ranger Borning down in the bot lane, or no, in the mid lane, actually. This is going to be a weird lane setup already, just looking at this. It looks like she is going to rotate back top, so they're going to have the Drow Ranger and the PL, the Phantom Lancer, in the same lane. Speaking of which, our next hero in the Dire lineup here, Mark Demon as our Phantom Lancer, and finally Captain Cannabis down in the bot as our Weaver. In the meantime, the Radiant just getting out in the field here. Looks like we're going to have Fatality, something in training as our Gyrocopter on blue. Feelgood as our Warlock in orange. Mid going up against that Pudge is going to be Invoca, brought to you by Helios. And it looks like offlane Slardar, however, he hasn't even started on his way out there yet. So, already right off the bat, not much happening from this Radiant team. And they were late getting out the gate, and they're still late getting out the gate for that matter. And yep, it's going to be Weaver down here in bot facing off against a Gyro and a Warlock. The Warlock not doing his job unto God and country, actually. If anything, the Warlock should be up here in this jungle harassing this Weaver, at least trying to. Sure, it's Weaver, he has Sakuchi. It's going to be extremely hard to kill him. So, going after that Weaver, perhaps not the best idea in the beginning for the Warlock, and it looks like he is going to focus more on stacking and pulling. Always a great thing to see that he will focus, and he's actually going to pull right into the lane. This is a little bit of a non-traditional tactic. Usually you pull it off to the side or in the other direction if you're that crazy to pull it towards the enemy team. But pulling it into the lane when the lane's not actually there works just fine either way. In the meantime, Coddle actually doing a great job here, forcing Slardar out of lane, and that's going to leave PL to try and maintain, he's already failed to maintain creep equilibrium for that matter. Lane's going to push up very aggressively right into Slardar, so he's quite happy to get a little XP from that. Meanwhile, mid, Invoker just harassing away at this Pudge. Matski trying his best to stay in lane, but it's kind of a hard one. You're a melee hero against a ranged hero. Until you get, unless you can hook him, dismember him, and rot him down, it's going to be really hard for Pudge to, I'm not going to say win the lane, because you can see right now, the lane is pushing right into Pudge, but for lack of a better term, he's already losing the lane. He has 2 last hits compared to Invoker's 6 and 5. So, if it continues this trend, we can guess who's going to be the one in control, but already Invoker going to leave his lane. He's heading down to bot here, going to grab this haste rune, which the Nyx has scouted for him. Speaking of which, there is a Nyx in the field. Didn't even notice that there was a Nyx in the field. Shows you how much I'm paying attention. Sorry, hold on, please. Either way, right now the Radiant are trying their best, and they're certainly looking for ganks. As we can see, the Nyx is rotating down bot here, waiting for the Weaver to overextend just a little bit, and it looks like he might get his chance. Stun comes out, second stun comes out, Sakuchi comes out, now the hasted Nyx comes in. Will there be range for Impale? He's already under the tower, this is going to be really ballsy. He's going to Impale him and then just back up. Not exactly a bad decision there. Rather than going for the tower dive, rather than risking his own life, instead he's just going to dive in there, and he's just going to look to stun Weaver, take him out of the lane, and then he's going to transition straight into a tri-lane situation, which they do have this slightly reversed. If anything, it should be the Warlock in the lane supporting the Gyro and the Nyx Assassin pulling and stacking. But Nyx Assassin with his early stun might be a better option. He's not going to be able to harass Weaver as effectively, but due to that Impale, he's able to keep Weaver out of lane just that much longer. Slardar's going to get caught out slightly here by Keeper of the Light, who he did a great job actually of positioning himself away from the creep wave there. That's one of those little things about creep equilibrium. If you distract the enemy creeps, they're going to take more damage and your lane's going to push out either way. Spirit Lance coming out from Phantom Lancer. You're going to hit Slardar. Going to do nothing whatsoever, but it's good harassment. And in this early game situation, harassment is the name of the game. I mean, in comparison, this Gyro, he's actually running away with the farm right now. Weaver has only gotten 4 last hits in here, and this is what I was talking about with that Nyx. The Impale is better at keeping Weaver out of lane than the Warlock is, who's busy stacking and pulling. And speaking of which, Courier just made his way out here. This really wouldn't be what the Radiant are looking for in their off lane. I mean, realistically, their safe lane is actually winning over the enemy safe lane, but that's simply because it looks like PL's just not doing as good of a job of getting those last hits. Which is kind of an odd note to put out there, considering that he's against a Slardar who's already been very effectively pushed out of lane. So to say that he's getting pushed out of lane and still not getting the farm he needs, well, that's just kind of a weird thing when, I mean, Weaver is still harassing the enemy lane. He has 4 last hits compared to Slardar's 1. So Weaver at least has gotten some last hits. He's failing to stay in lane at this point, but even then. Ooh, Pudge with the DD rune. Threatening to go in here. Weaver actually getting called missing simply because he's so far out of his own lane. This could go badly. Hook is up, and it's going to be very brutal if he makes that hook. He's certainly looking for the positioning. Instead, he's just going to miss a few last hits there while he does take some time to look for that positioning. And it looks like Invoker has spotted that DD rune. Is he going to go for it? Yep, he pops the DD rune. Now he's going after Invoker. They've reversed their sides of the field. Here comes Rod. There's the first hit. Going to take away a huge chunk of Invoker's health. And Invoker, what can he really do? That's going to be first blood going their way. Meanwhile, Weaver going to be extremely aggressive here, actually scooching right by the Gyro here and moving right around the side. He gets spotted out. Black Cannon comes, or no, Missile Barrage, excuse me, comes out. Rocket Barrage, more correctly. Weaver moves up slightly, but it's not going to be any chance there, so Weaver's able to just Sakuchi his way right out of that situation. No problems whatsoever. Meanwhile, up in that top lane tower, not even arguing about anything and quite content to take a little damage. Drow doing her best to harass the lane, and yeah, this is kind of a strange one. They have a pure carry and a pure carry in the same lane. Generally, it's kind of a weird situation they've got themselves into, especially since it doesn't look like Drow is actually going to support Drow in the form, which there isn't actually such a thing as support Drow as far as I know, so. The idea in general that there is a Drow out in the field in the same lane as a PL. They're going to be joined by mid here. They're actually going right by the tower, which is strange. They're not actually pushing the tower. They're letting the creep wave push the tower. Either way, Invoker comes up, gets a nice short stun on the Pudge here. Hook going to miss ever so slightly. Cold Snap doing its job for Invoker here, and both sides just going to back off. Pudge took so much damage, but he does have a salve still, so that's going to be remedied very quickly. And now lane's going to push hard on this tower. Illusion Room going to get bottled by Pudge here, and the tower might actually escape death. PL's going to get one last deny there, and then he's going to back off. Meanwhile, mid lane, Pudge Illusion's coming in, going to play the game. The real Pudge comes in, there's the hook, Rot comes out, and now there is Dismember, so that's a, unfortunately, dead Invoker. And another question mark, with him a question mark, but another question mark coming out from Gangster towards Helios, who's been caught out twice now by this Pudge. Meanwhile, top lane still pushing rather aggressively, and this is what I wouldn't exactly expect to see this, that they'd be pushing so aggressively with a PL in the lane. Late game, okay, it's a PL. He can solo push lanes himself late game, but early game? Are they really trying to push towers that aggressively? I mean, I guess when you combine it with Coddle, it almost becomes a requirement of the situation. Either way, Call Down about to be available for Gyro here. Just any more kills that happen for his side. There we go, level 6 is out. He's got his boots and he's got his blades of attack, so he's going to be moving for phase boots early on. Hook comes out from Pudge. Warlock not going to have a good day. They're just taken out by the Rot from Pudge. And now Gyro, he's not even worried. He's just going to stay right in lane here. Looks like he's decided not to go for Call Down, straight up level 6. Instead, he's just going to grab his phase boots, have those flown out on the Courier. In the meantime, top lane still pushing. There we go. Call Down finally happening for Gyro there. Either way, top lane's still pushing very aggressively. Slardar's trying his best. He's going to get hit on, or he's going to get hit head on by that Coddle wave. So he's going to get taken down almost a third of his health in this situation. He's going to be forced to back off behind the tower. And meanwhile, the creep wave is pushing once again. This lane is pushing so aggressively right now. This is a weird situation for the Dire. They're leading in, or for the Radiant, excuse me. The Dire are leading in kills. They're leading in towers now, and they're leading so aggressively. Swarm comes out from Weaver. Now the Gemini attack. There's the missile for Rocket Barrage. Call down actually going to come down. That's going to be a very large waste of a call down. Weaver is already dead by the time the first rocket hits the ground, and that's not going to be worth his cooldown. 45 seconds for that when he could TP in and help in another situation, such as this top lane, which seems to be going very poorly right now. In all fairness, Gyro needs to farm, but if they can get a gank off on the PL, then they're going to be in a very good situation, because right now, I mean, Gyro versus PL, overall, I would actually have to have given that to a Gyro late game, but because of the addition of the Coddle, that could become very, very scary for the Radiant late game. Or even just mid game, like PL plus Coddle mid game, that can be very interesting. Meanwhile, Pudge, he really wants his hooks, trying not to hook a creep here, and Invoker's doing his best to stay on the other side of the creeps from this Pudge. Pudge gonna throw the hook out there. Creep, unfortunately, going to be the one thing he's going to hook in this situation. He has his bottle, he has his wand, so Pudge on his way quickly to whatever he's going to be going for, which in this case looks like it might... I don't know, actually. It's a good question what Pudge is going to be going for here. He's saying that he already has a bottle? Well, Pudge, we'll see. Either way, PL looks like he's trying to jungle, actually. Had to get one of his illusions out there. Now the illusion does come out, and I don't think it's simply going to be enough to farm this for him. They're both just going to back off from that camp. Meanwhile, Slardar, or no, Nyx, actually. They rotated the Slardar out. Now the Nyx is up here in this top lane, and I mean, it's kind of a weird choice. If you'd have a... Ooh, in the meantime, speaking of which, Weaver comes in, going to get the kill on Gyro, and immediately Revenge comes out from Gyro, gonna be taking out that Weaver. Pudge coming in once again, though, looking for whatever he can.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Get over here!
Oh, that Pudge hook. Pudge hook does come out, and that's going to be a very bad day to be a Warlock. He's going to rather brutally die. And now Pudge able just to back off. He finds a haste rune in the river, and the ward even saw that, so they realize this is going to be a haste Pudge, and they need to be careful of it. Slardar, though, no fear whatsoever, runs right into vision of the Pudge, and then runs away. Actually running over. I wonder if they're going to try and go on the Pudge here. Nope, Slardar is not going to go after him anymore. They're just going to leave the Pudge to his own devices. Actually, Pudge going to pop his Shadow Amulet, and he's apparently just going to meld here.
Radiant's middle
just
tower
waiting
is under
for
attack.
an ambush of whatever kind he can. Meanwhile, Coddle's trying to push this mid lane, and with the Coddle Blast, that's going to work very effectively. Already the Radiant Wave taking a lot of damage, Catapult taking a little bit of damage, but simply not going to be enough. Ranged creep goes down, and indeed this wave is going to start pushing on the tower here. Now Nyx comes in. And now here comes that Pudge. Rot comes out. Surface gets popped. Dismember actually gets denied. Impale happens, but he's going to get taken down by the Rot. Not what the Nyx was looking for there. It's going to turn the way of the Pudge, and now this mid tower is also going to go the way of the Dire. Catapult doing a lot of damage. Last creep about to go down. Now tower is about to take some damage. Or no, Catapult's going to go down as well. Coddle Blast is now just going to seal the deal. Meanwhile, Gyro and Slardar are trying to push the spot lane. Weaver trying to act as much of a harassment as he can. Sakuchi coming out, and the wave is actually still pushing. There goes mid tower, and now it's up to this bot lane. They're trying to push onto a tower, and instead that's probably not going to happen as the wave continues pushing out. Yes, Coddle's, or PL, excuse me, is already starting to be a pain in the ass. He has his level 4 of Spirit Walk. Doppelwalk's only level 1, but he doesn't exactly need that to be high level just yet. Juxtapose, only level 1 as well, and his ult's still only level 1. But in the end of things, he's still level 7, and in terms of level, he is slightly behind Gyro by, well, 1 level. Drow, on the other hand, is level 8, and Pudge is level 10, and that's going to be the saving grace right now for the Dire team here. The fact that their Pudge is level 10. And they're still looking for that hook. Gyro's trying to stay behind the tower. Here comes the hook. It actually grabs a... That was an extremely long-range hook. It does grab the Warlock. Slardar going to have the stun come out. Cold Snap as well. That's going to be a very dead Pudge very quickly. His unstoppable streak going away just instantaneously, essentially. He got the hook and he got the kill, but unfortunately in came a Slardar. Stun comes out, and then Cold Snap from Invoker going to seal that deal very quickly. He didn't even use Sunstrike in that situation. Nyx Assassin going to pop that Vendetta. He comes in, looks to get that. Oh, he very cleanly gets that call, actually. More correctly, the Slardar gets the very last hit. Nyx comes in, and Swarm comes out from Weaver, which barely misses Nyx Assassin. Hits the rest of the team, however. And Weaver's going to do his best to be the best harassment that he can. Visibility coming out from Invoker. Weaver backing up. PL getting out of that bot lane as he realizes the entire enemy team is in this bot lane. They really want to grab this T1 tower, and they're going to have to push it rather hard in order to do so. And they're not even leaving any players unseen here. Warlock came in lane. They saw that. Slardar's just slightly out of lane here, so they don't actually know the Slardar's there yet. And there is an invisible Invoker, so they think there's 3 down here. They're not even going to commit to a defensiveness. Instead, it's just going to be a Weaver. Oh, it looks like someone is going to TP in here. Reinforcement from Coddle coming in. I smell a Coddle Blast. Nope, Chalk are just going to come out on Weaver here. And in comes that creep wave heading towards the tower. True Sight comes out on the Weaver, and now Sakuchi's essentially useless. There's the Coddle Blast going to miss one of the creeps, hits the rest, and the reinforcing Dire creep wave comes in here. So that's going to be a very... I mean, that's just the denial of that tower, essentially. The Radiant push going to fail rather quickly. I mean, almost instantly.
Dire structures are fortified.
And in the meantime, in comes an invisible Pudge going right on top of this Nyx. Silence comes out. Ranger, and boom, dead Nyx. Not a good day to be a Nyx in that situation. He just got caught out of lane. Thought there was only a Drow. Well, turns out there's a Shadow Blade Punch. Dismember came out, and I mean, that's just the way the day goes for Nyx here. He got caught out by a Punch.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That's one of those situations where once you start losing map control, I mean, they have no wards. The Radiant have 0 wards. They don't see what's going on here. It'll be incredibly easy for them to get caught out by these Pudge hooks. It'll be incredibly easy for them to get caught out by enemy movement that they don't see.
Radiant's bottom
and right now,
tower
Shadow
is
Blade
under
Pudge.
attack.
I mean, a Doppel Lock
Dire's middle
Phantom
tower
Lancer if
is
you really
under
wanted to.
attack.
Sakuchi Weaver. Not only that, but you combine that with Coddle Blast, you can push the lane out, and then his team can just go right around the lane. Such is actually what's happening. Mid lane is the only lane that's actually pushed out right now. Bot lane and top lane are pushed all the way up, so they have no vision in their
Radiant's
own
bottom
jungle.
tower
They have no
has
vision in the
fallen.
top side of the jungle, except for this wave, which is just starting to push back out here. And in the
Dire's
meantime,
middle
bot
tower
T1
is
tower
under attack.
gonna go down. All of the Dire T1 towers still alive here, not a problem whatsoever for them. Meanwhile, the Radiant suffering, all of their T1 towers gone, +1 T2, top lane already gone. Weaver going to continue harassing this bot lane. Gyro going to try to do whatever he can. Warlock is caught out, call down comes down. Light Strike as well. Is it going to hit? No, it's just barely going to miss that Weaver. And instead, there's the stun. Cold Snap comes down. Will it be enough? Time Lapse comes out, and Weaver's just going to scooch his way right on out of there. Gyro and Invoker both just going to back off here. They know it's not worth it. Recall from Coddle going to bring in the Drow Ranger, and now this is a 4-man push coming into this bot lane. Creepwave is still alive, getting harassed by Gyro. Are they going to go for the kill here? That's a Shadow Blade Pudge. Dismember's up in 1 second. He rots early. There's the Dismember, and now that's going to be a very dead Gyro. The Silence comes out, Drow Ranger comes in, lane's going to push out, and I think they're just going to abandon this tower. If they try to go for the defense here, it's going to be 4v5, and even though it's going to be under tower because of the Coddle Blast,
Radiant's
because of
bottom
Weaver
tower
Swarm,
is under
the
attack.
Creepwave's going to be dilly-dallying, and oh, because of the Weaver Swarm, actually, the Creepwave doesn't walk into range of that Coddle Blast, so instead of hitting what would have been the entire Creepwave, it's going to miss, and Coddle's forced to make another blast. This time it is going to hit. Carapace actually comes out from Nyx, and that's going to stun him temporarily. Punch Hook comes in. Warlock gets called in. He has his Golem. Is he going to pop it? Impale comes in from Nyx. They're trying to back out of this. Spirit Lance comes in, and that's going to guarantee the kill onto Warlock. Meanwhile, Tower's taking damage. There goes the tower. That's bot
Radiant's
T2
bottom
gone,
tower has
and now
fallen.
the Radiant are just left all alone trying to defend this. And at this rate, it's 5-11 right now, and they're playing so cautiously. They're staying away from every team fight possible. They're trying to stay alive. Warlock has so far
Dire's
rather
top
miserably
tower
failed at
is
that.
under
He's actually
attack.
0-5 right now with only 1 assist. The only other hero that comes even closer to the ones with 2 deaths. Call down coming down. It lands on top of PL. If they can get the PL kill, they'll be in a good situation. Slithering Crush comes out from Slardar. Hook comes out from Pudge, gonna bring him in nice and close. Dismember comes out. Drow Ranger gonna go down, and it looks like PL just unable. Is he? Yep, no, PL did not get out of there. Now the Coddle running away. Angry Gyro pursuing. Rocket Barrage is up. He pops it, but he just goes slightly out of range temporarily. Rocket Barrage already over. Coddle still running away. Weaver gonna come on in here. There is the Geminate attack. Now Coddle gonna turn back around. Golem drops by Warlock, and in they come. They're still chasing after this Coddle. Coddle trying to get out of the way, going to pop it on himself. There is the Blinding Light, still trying to get out of here. He's going to place down a Coddle Blast and catch Gyro pretty much straight in it. Will it be enough? Gyro doesn't have the mana to really pursue here. Golem too slow and actually blocking the faster walk speed of Warlock. Either way, I mean, PL backup already. Coddle managing to escape from that, but that's a 4 out of 5 team wipe for the Dire here. But they've gotten so many towers in the meantime. Even though the Radiant did just make a slight comeback by taking out the tower, by pushing so aggressively, they didn't get what they really needed. And the answer to that is they didn't get towers. They didn't get that many kills. They only got 4. And to be perfectly fair, this early in the game, they did make up some kills. It's only 9 to 12 now. But they've lost so many towers. There's a 10,000 gold difference and a 1,000 XP difference. The real question now is, considering that, the XP difference isn't actually that bad. It's only the gold that's become so insane. And this early in the game, I mean, it's 18 minutes in, with a 10,000 gold advantage. I would not want to be the Radiant team right now. And they would have to start questioning, like, are we really still in a position to do this? Looking at their levels, they still have Gyro and Invoker up there. Pudge is only 1 level above them, so level-wise, they're not actually that far apart. The support's obviously going to make the difference in that. I mean, so yes, PL only level 8 actually. PL is the second to least leveled hero in the game right now.
Roshan has fallen to the
I
down.
really missed a Roche. Sorry. Either way, Roche gonna get taken down by the Dire here. Aegis gonna go the way of PL, who is the lowest level carry on their team, considering that they have, well, 2 carries, Drow Ranger and PL. Drow Ranger also going and building into a carry Drow, it looks like. Actually, Radiance just coming out on PL. Kind of an interesting choice to go Radiance on a PL. Spirit Lance gonna hit the creep wave. Radiance already out in the field, dealing a ton of damage for that matter. Now here comes that wave. It's gonna start pushing into mid. Pudge about to find a Nyx. Thankfully, there's the Vendetta smoke, or dust comes out, actually. Pudge gets found out. Call down comes down. There's the rock drop. Pudge trying to get out here. He gets picked up by the Nyx Impale. Pudge going to go down here. They're going to try and commit to this. Weaver comes in. Nope. Coddle Blast. So much damage from that Coddle Blast. Actually, Drow finds the Warlock. He goes down. In comes Gyro. Missile Rocket Barrage comes out. 1 down, 2 down. Aegis gets popped here. Slardar trying to deal damage to that Drow. Drow staying alive somehow. Out comes the mech. Mech gets popped. Now he's out of mana. He doesn't have mana for Chakra even. Invoker going to take down the Drow. Now Invoker's going to get out of there. No, he's unable to do so. Radiance from that Phantom Lancer going to take him down there. And that's going to be 3 for 4. And overall, that's still in favor of the Dire, who kept PL alive. Whereas the Radiant lost
middle tower is under
Gyrocopter.
attack.
Not the situation they were looking to get into there. They even caught out, I mean, it was a bad initiation from the Dire, and it still went the way of the Dire in that team fight. Now Radiant's coming out once again. Coddle Blast gonna get taken by that Gyro. Here comes the Impale, trying to do damage to that Phantom Lancer, going to mana burn him as well. Simply not enough though. NPL is just able to back off. In the meantime, Chakra, enough mana is back up on that Keeper of the Light. He's got Chakra, and he's got his mech up at the same time. Power Tread's just coming out for Coddle here. And actually, Gyro is now top level with Drow. They've just surpassed Pudge. Meanwhile, mid tower taking damage once again. Juxtaposition now up to max level, but in comes that Nyx once again, and this time PL is not going to be able to escape death, as his armor does get sundered by Slardar. Amplified damage, a very deadly thing if you don't pay attention to it coming out on you. In comes Slardar, he pops that sprint. Now Pudge going to Shadow Blade his way out of this if he can. In comes Invoker with the dust. Are they going to pop it? They pop it, and it is actually going to hit Pudge. He gets spotted by the Warlock. He's going after the Warlock, speaking of which, Call Down comes down. And this time, Kala gonna get caught out. Drow Ranger as well. They all go down. Pudge is still in here though. He gets picked up. Now he goes down. Cold Snap comes in. There's an angry Slardar. Slither Crush gonna do that, and Miss Rocket Barrage gonna seal the deal on the dead Pudge right there. Now 16 to 16. The Radiant trying to make a comeback here. They got another good 4 kills. Mid tower still alive, though it is very near to dead, though they can't actually deny it at that amount. Missile is still pursuing. Time lapse comes out. There's the Light Strike landing right on top of him, as well as the Impale, followed by a Rocket Barrage. And now Weaver goes down as well. That's a staggered team wipe for the Dire here. 17 to 6 now. The Radiant need to capitalize on this. They need to make up some of this difference. They haven't taken a single tower. The Dire have taken all but 1 T2 tower, and it's almost dead. The Radiant need, and absolutely need, to make something out of this. There's a 12 or 11,000, now 10,000 gold difference. Meanwhile, XP has swung in their favor. And unfortunately, going into mid-game, going into late game, XP will only carry you so far compared to gold. Thankfully, they are going to go for this mid-tower. Nyx and Gyro trying to deal some damage here. In comes the Pudge, though, looking for whatever he can. Is he going to go for the... Nope, he's just going to rot and take out the entire creep wave. Glyph actually getting popped. Kind of a weird glyph there. They could have saved that glyph. Pudge had already TP'd in, and he'd already scared off the Radiant, essentially, so that may have been a waste of a glyph. I guess right now, the Dire are just feeling secure enough that they feel that they can go into mid-game here and not even worry about needing to glyph a tower. And arguably, they don't need to worry about it that much. The Radiant have already proven they're in no position, and they have not a large amount of interest, actually, in trying to push towers here. They're just trying to farm, get XP, and get whatever gold they can. And right now, with this mid-tower about to die, arguably that might be the better thing, but in comes this creep wave. Coddle and Weaver going to come in here. Sakuchi ready. Here comes the swarm. It's going to hit the gyro almost head-on. Creep wave not far behind. Does get partially hit by it. In comes the Coddle blast. Isn't even going to hit by this. Oh, Gyro just barely dodging it. Tower taking so much damage, and Weaver able to take down that mid T2 tower. Now all that remains, third-tier towers. And this is such a strange game. Even though the Radiant have no towers, they're still managing to get kills at this. They're still managing to make the Dire not push their high ground so immediately. And realistically, because of the kills they've gotten, they just killed a Drow Ranger with a bloody light strike. Because of the kills they've gotten, I mean, if I were the Dire, I would not feel safe trying to push high ground right now. And it looks like they are in that position. They're trying to get some punch hooks here, and their creep wave is pushing, whereas they're farming the enemy jungle right now. Either way, Weaver comes in, and this time he gets caught out rather brutally. Nick Assassin going to get the final kill there. Now Pudge trying to run a cold snap comes out. There's the second cold snap. Going to hook that Gyro, trying to get the kill there. BKB gets popped by Gyro, just member fails, and that's going to be Gyro just walking away from a dead Pudge there. He's very low on health, but thankfully he does have some heals coming out from his team, so Gyro going to come out of that on top, essentially. Warlock heals. Ah, Shadow Word. Shadow Word once again coming out on the Gyro, it looks like. Indeed, Gyro going to transition down to bot here, start pushing out this lane, getting whatever farm he can. That's exactly what he needs to be doing right now. PL, in the meantime, up in the top lane, doing the exact same thing, getting farm. Unfortunately for him, he was so far behind in the beginning, he's still so far behind. Nick's Assassin about to come in here. Oh, is he going to go for the Impale? Nope, he's not even going to try and Impale this today. He's just going to back up, pops the Carapace, no problems whatsoever. That's the second time I've done that. My apologies. The game muted. If I could, I would go back and re-record this with audio.
We must clean our pike.
Boom mic. It's incredibly useful. Coddle to start moving into mid here. He's going to try harassing Slardar as much as he can. Here comes that Coddle Blast. Range creep actually going to go down at the last moment. Lots and lots of damage phase, but it's going to get popped to avoid whatever damage he can. Meanwhile, in comes an invisible Drow Ranger with Mask of Madness. Just going to start farming the jungle instead. Pudge there to assist in case anything happens. He's now level 13, but he's still 2 levels behind the Gyro here. Gyro is managing to out-farm the enemy team, even though they have such a severe gold disadvantage. It's 12,000 gold compared to their 4,000 XP advantage. Smoke and Steed's coming out on Invoker here, so they're going to try and do some tricksy stuff. The Dire are all in their jungle here, going to start farming that. Now, my curiosity is, are they going to try and smoke into this situation? Here's when we find out. Are they waiting? Yep, TPN. I think they're going to smoke here. Out comes the smoke, and they're going in. Oh, right at that moment, though, Jim coming out for Coddle. The real question, does he have it at that moment? No, he doesn't. It's on the courier flying towards them. Now, here comes that smoke. He's about to wander right into the Weaver. Does he have Vendetta on? He does. He comes in, finds the Weaver. Sakuchi comes out. Is it going to be enough? No, it simply is not. He gets taken out brutally. Drow Ranger moves in, then finds out, oh, now's not the time. Now, Jim coming out is going to land with wards onto the Keeper of the Light there, who's going to quickly run away. Pudge going to run into the trees here, going to TP his way out of there. Oh, is he going to get spotted? He does get spotted at the last moment, but in the meantime, TP's coming out as they're going to try and deny this Coddle push. In comes Invoker. Going to take as much damage for that tower as he can. Meanwhile, they're pushing this bot lane. In comes the Coddle Blast. Creep Wave's going to run right into it. The question is it going to hit him?
Radiant's middle tower is
It hits the Gyro almost head on. He actually just did a double? No, it's just a single Coddle Blast, actually. Just crazy shenanigans happening right there. Meanwhile, the Dire are going to deny this push. Creep Wave is gone. they can't push on this tower. The counter push, just the amount of it from Coddle here, denying their capability to do so. Now they're going to start farming that lane almost immediately. Ward comes out, it does have Rune Vision, so the Radiant know this Illusion Rune is here, and the Dire know nothing is here. So as long as they pay attention to time, they should realize that the rune is top. Now, less than 1 minute until Roshan comes up here once again. The Dire are just sitting in the Radiant jungle right now like they own the bloody place, and I mean, as far as they're concerned, they probably do own the place, which is kind of a strange thought, considering that when they go into team fights, they're the ones losing heroes, actually. They're pushing towers like none other. They're getting tower kills, and unfortunately for them, the side note to that is they're getting out-farmed, which is almost a weird thing to have to say. Almost up to a 5k gold or XP advantage, 12k gold advantage. And the thing about gold, unless they do some really crazy stuff here and they take out the T3 towers, the gold's going to level off here because the Radiant are still out farming them. They're getting gold from the farm. And if they can continue farming like this, then going into late game, I think the Radiant would have the advantage, even though they've lost so many towers. They've lost a huge amount of map control. They've lost their jungle, essentially. They're still farming the lane, though. They're still getting gold. Right now what they need a good team fight. They need to force the Dire right on out of their jungle. Pudge going to come in here. There's the Coddle Blast. Going to hit that wave almost head on. The Forged Spirit's not even going to care. Well, as only Forged Spirits can, may I point out. They don't need to worry about anything. They're forged. They can just be reforged. Not a problem.
Dire's top tower is under
Such
attack.
you are going to very clearly spot out the illusion coming
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Forged Spirits once again coming in here, actually. Oh, what is going on here? That's a smoked Radiant team moving through the jungle. This could go badly. Drow going to walk right into it. There's the Vendetta. Nyx continuing on his merry little way. Pickup's going to happen on the Drow. She's able to get up on the hill. Will it be enough? No. She's going to get taken out by the Rocket Barrage from Gyrocopter here. And the Dire is going to try and melt back into their side of the river. Pudge going to make his way out. And he's been dusted, though, which is kind of weird that they're not actually going after him. Drow Ranger going to buy back. And are the Dire going to try to turn this round back on them? Pudge, oh, just barely missing, announcing the fact that Pudge is there. He gets cold snapped. Missile is still pursuing. There's the homing missile going after him. They know what's going on here. They can just follow the symbol. Will Shadowblade last long enough? He dispels it. Light Strike, or Sunstrike lands almost exactly on him. There's the call down. Meanwhile, they come in here. Warlock is taken down. Drow not far behind. Coddle still trying to do whatever he can. Stardar still alive, going after the Weaver now. Are they still going to be able to see? Yes, they do. And that's going to be a dead Weaver. Ward gets taken down. Pudge comes in here once again. Ghost Crook finds it on Invoker. Is it enough, though? He gets picked up. Now he's going to fall down rather heavily. He goes down. Weaver got killed by neutrals, actually. That was very well played by Weaver to go and find a camp and get killed by that instead. But in the meantime, that's a full team wipe. A full team wipe for the Dire, who are pushing so aggressively. They've killed all but the T3 towers. They've done damage to bot. They've done some damage to mid. They've done some damage to top. Meanwhile, they still have all of their T1 towers, albeit that they are very damaged. The Radiant, though, they're going to go and do Rosh. They want whatever advantage they can get here, and this is actually going to give them a significant gold advantage, because Rosh does reward gold. Already, it's started turning around. There's a 7.5k XP advantage for them. When gold updates, it's going to be just that little bit more, and right now, for the Dire, that's not spelling anything good. They went for an early rush game. They tried pushing towers, and in fact, they successfully pushed towers. But this is slowly turning around, and what the Dire need right now is they need to get a good team fight. They've just lost a huge amount of map control, and the problem with that is when you lose map control like that, when you are forced off of the enemy side, they are now controlling the pace of the match. You need to get a good team fight. You need to go on their side of the river. You need to farm their jungle. You need to control them. You need to tell them that they're not the ones controlling the pace of the match. Your team are the ones controlling the pace of the match. And right now, the Dire just don't have that saving grace. And that's what they're going to be looking to find in the future, is just that pace. They need to set the tick, as I'm going to say. Right now, they're just going to deny this quick push on mid, and that's going to set them down that path very early on. As long as they start pushing out waves, they're going to start controlling the lanes once again. I mean, bot lane has already been in their favor. It's just pushing out mid lane, pushed all the way up to their side of the river. Top lane, same story, so they're going to push back out that mid and top lane. They're going to leave bot alone while it tries pushing. Aghadim's just coming out for Invoker here. I mean, right now, if you're the Radiant, you're doing what you need to be doing. You're trying to farm the lane, or more quickly, you're having Gyro farm the
Dire's
lane.
bottom tower
Gyro
is
is
under attack.
severely higher level, actually, than Drow Ranger. Pudge comes in, thinks about hooking, decides better of it, and just going to back off. Meanwhile, their entire team is in this mid
Dire's
lane.
bottom
Drow
tower
Ranger,
is
Mask of
under
Madness gets
attack.
popped, going after the Slardar. Creep block comes out. Is it going to be enough? Oh, just barely avoiding death. There's the amplified damage. Light Strike just barely, or Sunstrike actually just going to barely miss as the Pudge hook comes out, saving that Drow Ranger. And considering that they're equal level, the fact that Drow Ranger couldn't get the kill on Slardar there, that's a very
Dire's
interesting
bottom
denial.
tower is under attack.
He actually has a gym. If he had gone down there, it was one more shot for Slardar to get taken down by that Drow, and she just missed that final shot.
Dire's
She
bottom
missed the
tower
gem.
is
She
under
missed the
attack.
kill. And right now, when you're behind on levels compared to their Gyro, that's not what you're looking for. Sitting around. And once again, the Radiant are playing so passively, actually, that they're once again in control of the pace of the match. They're going to try and push in here. Ult gets popped by Coddle. Here comes that homing missile, going to start flying after him. There's the Coddle Blast. Misses the flying bomb, actually. Missile's going to hit him almost head on. There's the stun. Warlock, in the meantime, gets caught out by Drow Ranger. Now up on the high ground is a picked up Drow Ranger. She gets a meteor landed on her, still trying to run away. Cold Snap happens. She goes down. In comes Weaver. Sakuchi'd trying to get whatever he can. The gem is still active, though. Call down coming down. That's a very dead Weaver. They're trying to back off. BKB comes out from Gyro, pursuing after that Pudge. Pudge, Shadow Bladed out of the way, trying to move out, or trying to move out that side. Instead, he runs right back into the mid lane, actually going to try and juke them, and it works very successfully, and he goes right back around, and he catches out a Gyro, but barely misses his Pudge hook, and instead, now he's going to be forced to back off. Coddle comes in for support, but there's an angry Slardar. Pick up from Invoker. There's the Ice Path. Now here comes the Slither and Crush, and that's a very dead Coddle. He's going to be unable to get away from that in any case. 30-19 now. Another 3 down for the Dire. And they failed to push once again. What started out as an absolute rush by the Dire has completely turned around now. The Radiant have won, like, pretty much won 3 team fights in a row now. The lanes are pushing out mid. They're pushing out top lane actively. Bot lane, they're just leaving to its own devices while Gyro continues farming. He's level 19. He's almost level 20. He's got a BKB. He's got a Demon Edge. Now he's got an MKB. Plus, he still has Helm of the Dominator. Gyro's in a very good position. He has Aegis, even. Gyro, in terms of carry, he is in a great position. PL never got the farm he needed. He has a Radiance. Now he has a Reaper. What can that really do for him right now when he needs other items? He needs stuff that's going to make him powerful late game. He needs to just out-farm the enemy team. He shouldn't leave his lane if he's going to keep dying like this, in which case, he certainly died more than he should. He's 3, 3, and 4 right now. That's not what you're looking for when you're Coddle. Coddle of all things. Oof. I'm not going to say ironically, but an interesting turn. He does actually have the second highest net worth. I wouldn't have expected that, actually. With the amount of farm he has, does he have a good number of last hits? In the meantime, Weaver strike happens. Weaver going to time lapse, trying to stay alive here. You try and head out through the top. Is he going to be able to Sakuchi's way out of there? He Sakuchi's. Has he been dusted? Yes, he has been dusted. He's slowly to get out of there. In the meantime, Peel came in, taking a lot of damage, trying to phantom, or he double walks his way out of it. There's the Drow Ranger starting to deal some damage there. Coddle Blast comes out. Gyro taking a lot of damage. BKB still down for another 40 seconds. Here they come. Nick's trying to take damage. Hook comes out, but it catches PL ever so slightly. He goes down. Warlock goes down in the meantime. Golem's still alive, trying to deal damage. He gets taken down by the Weaver and the PL, or Coddle, excuse me, not the PL. And that's going to clear this little mid push. And now, as he tries to run away, Nyx gets caught out by the Drow Ranger and the Pudge. And they're going to go down here. Haste actually out on the Pudge. They're going to start pushing towards this mid lane. Lane is there, about to push. Gyro actually stayed alive, but his Aegis is about to go away in 25 seconds as he heals up. So he's not going to have Aegis going into this next fight. Meanwhile, mid lane is pushing very aggressively. They want this T3 tower, and they want it now. Weaver right here. They're already taking the creep wave. Creep wave is gone. Now they're pushing the high ground. Here goes the Aegis, about to expire. Swarm comes in, not going to find anything. Actually finds the Gyro, I believe. Tower's already taking damage. Pudge Hook catches that Gyro. BKB comes out. There's the call down. Now it lands pretty much directly, squarely on them. Gyro taking so much damage. They're still unable to get the kill. Drow Ranger goes down. Coddle trying to run away from this. Mana Leak comes out on Slardar, so he's unable to pursue. He's trying to keep up enough mana to sprint if he needs to. And he's going to do just that. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, a Drow Ranger for a Nyx Assassin. And in this situation, where the Drow Ranger is actually out-farming the PL, losing your Drow Ranger in exchange for a Nyx Assassin is not a very good deal in any form. Now they come in once again. Ice Pack comes out from Invoker, catches that punch. Meteor Strike just barely missing. Invoker, or not Invoker, but Weaver going to time-lapse his way out of that. Still taking damage, though. Gyro goes down. Invoker goes down. Coddle is still, or Coddle comes in. Now PL still in here pushing. Nyx Assassin goes in. Is he going to go after the Weaver? He's going behind them. He turns right back around. He sees the Coddle. He goes after the Weaver. Goes for it. But the Sakuchi. And then he misses the Impale just ever so slightly. And now the Dire are going to start pushing once again. With the loss of Gyro, with the loss of your Invoker, with the loss of Warlock, the engagement that wasn't your favor prior has just turned around completely. It's 32-25, but the Radiant just made a poor mistake in the sense that they lost the heroes they needed to keep online. Do they have buyback? It looks like they do indeed have buyback. Warlock does not actually, but the other two do still, so they're in a good position if they do buyback. Mid tower going to go down, still no buyback. Weaver gets taken out by Nyx Assassin in the meantime. Creepwave pursuing right by the Rex. Melee Rex just trying to take damage. Here comes that PL, which may be such a threat. Once his illusions get up, he's going to deal a ton of damage. Oh, that hook comes out. Silence comes out from Drow Ranger, going to pretty much head-on hit the Nyx Assassin. Slaughter not far behind. Ranged Rex now starting to take damage. That means Mega Melee creeps in the mid lane. It's like not quite yet.
Radiant's middle barracks.
And in the meantime, Ranged Barracks goes down, so now full Mega creeps in the mid lane. Building, as it's called, going to start taking damage here. Roche coming up in the next 2 minutes, and the Radiant have just lost whatever semblance of lane control they had. Mid lane's pushed all the way in. Top lane is pushed almost all the way in. Bot lane is pretty much their one saving grace in that sense. And right now, Drow Ranger going back that direction, assisted by Pudge, and she's going to push out that lane right towards the enemy base. They're looking to get rid of this bot lane by the looks of things. Actually, PL, he's going to be pushing this top lane. This is going to be a split push to Indal, split pushes for that matter, as they're going to push both top and bot, and they're going to do it very aggressively. Pudge is left to push the lane itself, whereas Drow Ranger is hanging forward, actually, just keeping the creep wave out of the fray. Impale comes out from Nyx. He did Vendetta in. Sunstrike going to hit him almost head on. There's the... Oh, Cold Snap, actually, and Carapace going to do its job. PL going to get stunned there. He's unable to get so he goes down. Now Call Down comes down, misses completely. Impale comes out, misses slightly. And Weaver's... It looks like he time-lapsed his way out. Where did Weaver go? Weaver actually went back to the base. He must have popped the time-lapse, but I don't actually understand why time-lapse would have sent him back to the base. Oh, never mind, I completely understand. He got recalled by Coddle, and then when he time-lapsed, it time-lapsed him all the way back to the base. Right, that makes sense. Coddle Blast coming out, Mana Leak as well, going to land right on Slardar. Slardar, try not to move, Slardar. There you go. He still has some semblance of mana left now. Meantime, in the bot lane, Meteor Strike happens. Invoker gets dismembered by Pudge, long range for that matter. Slithering Crush comes in. Gyro trying to stay on there. BKB gets popped by Gyro. No call down as yet. There's the call down. It's going to land on top of no one for that matter. Coddle Blast comes out once again. He runs right back in. He gets caught out by the Warlock Golden Drop. And now Coddle's going to run in and die brutally. Drow Ranger already went down. Slardar is pursuing. He finds the Brudge. Are we going to see the Slithering Crush? He doesn't have the mana for it, actually. Now he does. Dust comes out. Oh, but he uses Amplified Damage instead. There's the Impale. He has the Slithering Crush now. Punch gets caught out, and he's going to go down. That's 4 out of 5 once again for the Dire team here. And the Radiant, they're just going to be looking... I mean, at this rate, from the looks of things, they're going to try and sit back, which, at this point, is kind of a weird idea. See, this is that game where I went in. There was a PL and a Coddle. You have a PL and a Coddle. That's like the most late-game-oriented carry combination you could possibly have. He's called Cancer Lancer for a reason. When he comes online, he will murder your lane. He will murder your towers. And he's kind of scary. He can push lanes like crazy right now. But the question for it being is, when he's so under-leveled, he is level 17 compared to Gyro's 21. When you're that under-leveled, can you really do so? You're so far behind the enemy carry that part of it is you need to be continuously farming, or you need to deny that carry. You need to take out Gyro. You need to stop his own farm. And right now, he's about to get another Roche. He's probably about to get another Aegis. And instead, it's Slardar for the Aegis. Actually, Chi's going to get picked up by Gyrocopter here. Gem of True Sight now on the Gyro.